Okay, this video is a continuation from the previous video, and we are talking about times of day with natural lighting. Okay, so here is the horizon, and we actually have different times. We have different names or different terms for different times of the day. And day is once the sun has risen all the way to once the sun sets. Prior to sunrise and after sunset, before we get to night, the period that is known as night, we have a period that's known as twilight. And twilight has to do with the amount of light based on, as you can see over here, the angle of the sun in relation to the horizon. So pretend this is the surface of the earth and this is the sun out here somewhere. And if you drew a line between the center of the sun and the center of the earth over here, it's going to create a line. At 18 degrees with the sun here, at 18 degrees, the position between the sun and the earth, we have now entered a period of twilight. And so between 18 degrees and the sun's moving, we're moving rather, and the sun now, its position is here compared to the earth, we are now at 12 degrees. And we go from what is called astronomical twilight and we move into nautical twilight. Then we get into civil twilight. And then at 0 degrees, we break the horizon and now we're into the day. Now, while this may seem really pedantic, why are you worrying about the difference between 18 and 12 and 6 degrees and 0 degrees of twilight? Most people think we just go from night to day. Because as someone who photographs natural lighting, you get some really beautiful light in that 18 degrees between night and day. The twilight light is some of the best light you could ever shoot. And yes, it requires you to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to shoot it. But it's worth it to get some really amazing shots. It's light that works really well with long exposures on your camera, that the contrast is beautiful. The shadows are, okay, so here, all right, at night we have no shadows. And for some amount of time in astronomical twilight and nautical twilight, you have no shadows either. And what that allows you to do if you're shooting something that's like a body of water is you can see through the water. And if you're taking a photo, and I have one somewhere, there was a shot that I showed you guys that I took. It was in Idaho of a river, and it was fall, and the colors were just wildly saturated. I didn't use any filters. That bright saturated color came from shooting during twilight. Now it was post sunset twilight. It wasn't this time of day, but you can see through the surface of the water and see the rocks in the bottom of the water. And that allows you to get some really interesting, original, one-of-a-kind shots because there is no sun reflections in astronomical twilight and part of nautical. Now, as the sun begins to come up, the rays are starting to penetrate the horizon, and you're going to start in civil twilight. You're probably not going to get those. You're probably not going to see through water anymore unless it's in shade. So this gets complicated. But it's important to know that the twilight periods, you have incredible saturation. Your contrast is low without losing tone. You have this surreal, ethereal, beautiful, diffused light that you're never going to capture during the day. And it's a great time for shooting. And just know those it's maybe, this is maybe 45 minutes. This starts maybe 45 minutes. I think I have it on a table somewhere. before sunrise to 30 minutes before sunrise. It depends on the time of year. I know this is complicated, but so I have other slides. But I just want to say this works on the other side as well with sunset. So if we go in reverse, the sun is coming down, sunset, we go through civil twilight, nautical twilight, astronomical twilight into the night. And I want to show you the difference in photography because it is there. Okay, so here are photos taken with different types of twilight. So this is morning. Okay, so this is the astronomical twilight period. You can still see some stars in the sky. This is all lit up, and the sky stops being black and starts being shades of purple to shades of blue that you can only see in that 15-20 minute window of every day on each side, right? So you get that small sliver of time to capture this beautiful light. Then this is nautical, and you'll see you get this nice teal color to the sky. But you also see how, now here the lights are reflecting on the surface of the water so you can't see through it. But here you get this very beautiful diffused look. So you still have sharp contrast without high contrast. So this is really nice. You probably have to do a little bit of editing to this, but this is still a beautiful time of the day to shoot. And then civil twilight, again, you can start to see a little bit through the glass, but not as much because now the rays are starting to come in and you've completely lost any ability to see through the water. Okay. And then this is sunset. And we've talked about the golden hour. And that is from so this is when the sun is setting. So when the sun is, actually the sun's over here, when the sun is about 6 degrees off the horizon to about 4 degrees off the horizon, that's your golden hour. And while it is not an hour, it can be between an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and a half during summer to actually longer. I think it can be 45 minutes sometimes. Depends on where you are in the world. To longer in the winter because of the fact that the sun is shifting based on the position where the Earth is. So that's your golden hour. And I'm going to show you an easy way to not have to calculate all this math. And then you get into the blue hour. And that's that beautiful nautical twilight, astronomical twilight that, between -4 degrees and -18. That you get that, and they call it the blue hour because the light is bluish, but the sky is just incredible shades of blue that you don't see during the day. And when you shoot at these times of day, you're getting to see things that other people don't. And then this is showing you an aerial photo from a satellite. The transition from day to night is a gradient. There is no hard line, right? So you'll always see this gradient from day through civil, nautical, astronomical into night. And the most preferable light for photography is the hour before to the hour after sunrise, the hour before and the hour after sunset. And here you go. I mean, this is the beautiful, magical color, high contrast without high key photography that you can only get during twilight. Okay, I'm actually going to stop this here and we'll talk about artificial light in the next video.